Mathematical Literacy Paper 1, Common Test, that is June 2019. So this question paper is from the province of KwaZulu and Natal. So I'm going to add the instructions of the question. With question paper, we've got instructions and information whereby the first instruction is that this question paper consists of 3 questions and you answer all questions. So very important that you are supposed to answer all questions. Then we have got an extra A that we have in the addendum to answer question 2.1. So we take note of that. So you number the answers correctly according to the numbering system used in this question paper. Start each question on a new page. So other important areas according to this video is that in terms of rounding off, we can just try to refer where to have on information 7, whereby it reads round off all final answers appropriately according to the given context unless stated otherwise. So very important to take note of this. And then also instruction number 8, units of measurement must be indicated where applicable. So we take note of that also. So going to our question 1, our question 1 reads, Tom surprised his wife on her birthday by buying her a 55-inch television set. The repayment period is 36 months and the monthly installment is 570 rands. Refer to the advertisement below. So you're given an advertisement that you just need to go through before you attempt to answer the questions. So on the question part, it reads as study the advertisement above and answer the questions that follow. 1.1, write down the item number of the television set with 2 marks. So item number of television set, we try to see according to information given, but of course we are given the item number as stated here, whereby we have got number 783461. So we are saying on 1.1, item number we are seeing that we are given each S, so we can just refer back. 783 461. So this is what we have for the first part of our question. Then going back to the second part of our question reads, determine the repayment period in years. So if you try to refer back to the information given, you're going to see that the repayment period, we're given it in months. But if you try to refer to our question, it requires us to represent it in years. So of course, we have got 36 months. So going back to our answer section, we are saying on 1.2, we are saying 36 months. And we know that we have 12 months in a year. So 1 year is equals to 12 months. So to convert our 36 months to years, we're going to divide 36 by 12. So we're going to say 36, we divide 36 by 12. So that is what we have. So if we divide by 12, we're going to say that the number of years that we're going to get is 3 years. So we have got 3 years as our response. So we should move on to the next question that we have. So going to our next question, it reads, convert the size of the television set from centimeters to meters. So of course, we try to refer back to the size of the television set. So if you come here, you'd see that we are given the size is 55-inch television set. So this is the size that we have. And we go to our question. We see that our question requires us to convert centimeters to meters. So, but we are given it in inches. So we have to first convert it to centimeters and then we convert to meters. So of course, we have got 55 inches that we have, and this is our 1.3. So we are saying 55 inches. We have 55 inches. And then we convert our inches to to centimeters. So of course, 1 inch. So we are going to see that our 1 inch our 1 inch is equal to 2.5 centimeters. So with that, we can now be able to convert our inches to centimeters. So this is what we have, as we have 55 inch. So our 55 inch, we now say 55 times 2.5. So we are saying 55 times 2.5 centimeters to get our centimeters. So if you say 55 times 2.5, we can try to see what we get. Let's just try to calculate there. Then we get 139.7 centimeters, which is what we have in terms of our centimeters. Then we have to convert this to meters now, as indicated in the question. So we can just try to refer back to our question. As our question is saying, we have to convert centimeters to meters. So with that now, we can now say our 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. So of course, with that now we can divide 139.7 divided by 100. So we are saying 139.7 divided by 100, and then you can convert it now to meters. So if we divide, we are going to see that the answer that we are going to get is going to be 1.397. 1.397 meters, which we can as well try to round off at one decimal place. It can be 1.4 meters. So this is what we have, or if we round it off to two decimal places, it goes back to 1.4. So this is the final answer that we can refer to be our answer for 1.3. So this is what we have. So we move on to the next part of our question, which is going to be 1.4. How many years warranty will Tom get after buying the television set? So of course we refer back to see how many years of warranty do we have. But of course we have it mentioned here, whereby they say a two-year warranty. So we've got 2 years. So this is our 1.4. So we are saying 2 years. 2 years warranty. Then we move on to the next question. Our next question reads, write down the number of days for which the price of the television is valid. Write down the number of days for which the price of the television is valid. So we can just try to see. Okay, if you try to refer back to the beneath the picture that we are given, it reads Game Store's catalog price valid from 20 to 24 March 2019. So of course, from 20 to 24, how many days do we have? So we are going to calculate it as this is going to be 1.5. So we're going to say 24 minus 20 plus 1. Why are we adding the 1? It's because 20 is also included, so that's why we are adding 1. The whole of 20 is included, then 21, 22, 23, 24. And then we are going to get our answer is 5 days. So that is the answer that we have for 1.5. Moving on to 1.6. 1.6 reads, calculate the original price of the Samsung television. So if you try to see the price that we are given here is 12,999 rands. Of course, beneath that, they say save 4,300. It means after arriving at the price of 12,999, we had reduced it by 4,300. So obviously the original price will be 12,999 plus 4,300. So we come to our answer section. We do a search whereby we are going to say this is going to be our 1.6. So for 1.6, as we are saying, is 12,999. And then, of course, we add 4,300 that has been saved. So add 4,300, 4,300 rands, and then we get a total of 17,299. So this is what we have on 1.6. Then moving on to 1.7. 1.7 say calculate round off to one decimal place the amount saved as a percentage of the Samsung TV's original price. Remember, the original price is the one that we calculated here. And this is going to be our denominator. Then our numerator becomes the amount saved. So the amount saved is the one that is indicated as saved 4,300. So the amount saved is 4,300. So we are saying 4,300 we divide by the original price that we calculated just earlier, which we got as 17,299. And these are rands. Of course, we multiply by 100 over 1 to convert it to a percentage. We do that, we see that the answer that we are going to get there is going to be 24.856. And this is a percentage. So we are going to round it off at one decimal place whereby we have got an 8, behind 8 we have got a 5, which is in the range 5 to 9. Obviously, it's going to have an effect of +1 on 8 to get a 9. So our final answer becomes 24.9%. So this is our final answer. We move on to 1.8. So 1.8 is calculate the total amount to be paid by Tom at the end of 36 months. So if you refer to the information that we are given at the beginning of the question, let's just try to see. So this is the information that we are given at the beginning of the question. We are being told that the repayment period is 36 months, but the monthly installment is 570. So obviously, as simple as that, we're going to say 36 times 570 rands to get the total amount that is going to be repaid after all the installments has been made, are being paid. So of course, the question is saying calculate the total amount to be paid by Tom at the end of 36 months. So that's how we're going to calculate it. So we go back to our answer section. Now we are saying this is going to be our 1.8. So on 1.8, remember we are saying total amount. Total amount is equal to 570 rands times 36. And we are going to get this 20,520 rands. So this becomes your total amount. So on 1.9, if Tom decides to buy the television cash, determine how much you will save instead of buying the television on hire purchase. Of course, by buying it on cash, this is going to be the price for the cash, 12,999. As compared to the installment amount, which we've just calculated as 20,520. So the difference between the two becomes the amount that is going to be saved. So we're saying 1.9 amount saved which is equal to what 20,520 minus the cash amount which is 12,999. 12,999. And we see what we are going to get. We're going to get our difference is 7,521 rands. So this becomes the amount saved. So we move on to the next question, which is going to be 1.10, if Tom takes a loan of 300,000 rands from his bank, interest will be charged at 3.5% per annum, simple interest. Define the term interest rate. And of course, interest rates are basically is a percentage used to calculate the amount of interest that is either earned or charged. So it is earned or charged from the point of view of the buyer. It is the amount that is charged, or the person who is taking the loan, who is accessing the loan, is going to be amount that is charged. But for the bank, it's going to be interest or the amount that is going to be earned. So that's how we best we can define it. So we are saying this is now question 1.10a, and we are saying interest rate is the percentage used to calculate the amount of interest that is either earned or charged. So this is what we have on this part. So moving on to the next part of our question. Of course, we've got a B that we have, which reads, calculate the amount of interest for 2 years. For 2 years, and we know that per annum is for 1 year. So we're going to say 3.5% of 300,000, then we get the annum, which is for 1 year. Then we multiply by 2 to get for 2 years. So basically, it's 1.10b. So we are saying on our calculation, we've got 300,000. Then we multiply by the percentage, which is 3.5% of 3.5% is 3.5. Then we divide by 100. Then we multiply by 2 years to get the interest for 2 years. So if you do that, you see that the answer that you're going to get is going to be 21,000. So this is the last question that we have on question 1. So of course we need to move on to our question 2. Moving on to our question 2. Our question 2 reads, John and his family traveled with his new car from Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone to visit his uncle during the September holidays. I refer to Annexure A in the addendum that shows the road map of South Africa. Use Annexure A to answer the questions that follow. 2.1.1, give the name of the national road that John and his family will use from Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone. Of course, the question has got 2 marks. So we go to the Annexure A that we have. So Annexure A, we are given it as a map that we have here. So going down, you are going to see that as the question is asking the road that is being used from Port Elizabeth, and we can see that Port Elizabeth is here, and Shepstone is here. So these are the 2 points that we have. So we can just try to zoom out. So this is what we have. So with that, we can see the route from Port Elizabeth to Shepstone. So we can as well try to indicate as we see that this is the route. So it is the N2 is indicated here. So we can see that for question 2, we have got N2 as our response. So we are saying our 2.1.1, it's N2. Then we go to the next question. Our next question reads, which ocean is on the west of Port Elizabeth? So we go to where we have Port Elizabeth. Port Elizabeth is here. So of course, we are saying Yes, Port Elizabeth is here. Our north is this side. We also have our south this side, our east this side, our west this side. So going back to the question reads, um, which ocean is to the west of Port Elizabeth? So of course, west is going to be this direction. So we go to the west. We see that this is the west. So the west we have the Atlantic Ocean here. So we have Atlantic Ocean as our response. So we refer that as our 2.2.2. Sorry, 2.1.2. So we are saying Atlantic Ocean. So we go back to the next question. How many national roads connect to Bloemfontein? So we have to first identify where do we have a Bloemfontein. So we can just try to make it. So if you refer to our map, we are going to see that Bloemfontein, we are going to have it here. So we have Bloemfontein at the metro here. So they are saying how many roads connect to Bloemfontein? So how many roads do we have? We have got N1 is indicated here going down, which is also labeled N1 here. So we have got one. And then we have got this one, which is N8, which we have here, which is one labeled. Then we have got N6, which we have here. So this is another road that we have, which is connected to Bloemfontein. So we can talk about N5 because N5 is not directly connecting to Bloemfontein. It is connecting to N1. So we can talk about N1 here. So we have three roads that we can clearly identify there. So we have got three roads. So this is going to be our 2.1.3, whereby our answer is 3. Then moving on to the next question, name two towns which they will pass when traveling from Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone. So two towns that we can see from Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone. From Port Elizabeth is here. We see that we have got East London. It's one of the towns. We go. We have got Umtata, and then we reach Port Shepstone. So we have got East London and Umtata that we can identify there. So this is going to be our 2.1.4. So we are saying East London, East London and Umtata. So these are the two towns that we have. We refer back to 2.1.5. State general direction of Lesotho from Western Cape. State the general direction of Lesotho from Western Cape. So it's a matter of going to Western Cape because it's Lesotho from Western Cape. So Western Cape is here. So of course we need to indicate our directions, whereby we represent it in this way, where of course we have our north, we have our north, we have our south, we have our east, and we have our west. And then we check where we have our Lesotho. We check Lesotho is here. So of course we connect again. Lesotho to Lesotho is this one. So of course, according to how we can read the direction there, we've got north and east. So we've got northeast. So it is a northeast. So we refer that as northeast. That is 2.1.5. So moving on to the next question. We have 2.1.5 as the last question that we have. Then 2.1.6, write down one advantage of using a bar scale. One advantage of using a bar scale. And of course, one advantage that we can deduce is that bar scales are quick and easy to use. quick and easy to use. So 2.1.6 pascals. Are quick and easy to use. So this is what we have on this part. Moving on to the next question, 2.1.7. The distance that John traveled to his uncle's place is measured as approximately 7 centimeters on the map. Use the bar scale to determine the estimated distance in kilometers that John traveled. So we are going to use the scale that we have on the map, and then try to see what the distance that John traveled. So, of course, and of course, according to the map that we have, 2.2 centimeters is equals to 300 kilometers. So what about the 7 centimeters that we are being asked to convert 7 centimeters? So we just make a simple proportion whereby we are saying 2.1.7 is we are saying 2.2 centimeters is equals to 300 kilometers. So 7 centimeters is the one that we want to convert. Obviously, we have more kilometers. So exactly as we convert that to a simple proportion, whereby we say what we don't have is 7 centimeters, it becomes the numerator. What we have is 2.2, becomes the denominator. We multiply by the given figure, which is 300 kilometers. So with that, we see where we arrive. So we calculate like that. We see that the answer that we are going to get there is 954, 954.55 kilometers. So this becomes the conversion that we have. So we move on to the next part of our question, which is going to be 2.1.8. John drives at an average speed of 110 kilometers per hour. Use the estimated distance calculated in 2.1.7 above to determine the time rounded off to the nearest hour it takes to travel from Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone. You may use the formula time is equal to distance over speed. So of course, we start with the formula 2.1.8. The formula that we are given is time is equal to distance over speed. Time is equal to distance over speed. So of course, our distance is indicated in the question that we are using the distance, use the estimated distance calculated in 2.1.7. So 2.1.7, what we got was, let's just try to refer back. We got this at 954.55. So this is going to be 954.55 kilometers. And of course, this is our numerator. Then our denominator now is our speed is given in the question. We have our speed is 110 kilometers per hour. So we divide by 110. And this is kilometers per hour. So we convert to time. We divide, we see that we are going to get our answer is 8.677 hours. Refer back to the question clearly says round off to the nearest hour. So of course, to the nearest hour, we are here. So behind, we've got a 6, which can change on 8 to 9, whereby we now say 9 hours. So this is our final answer on 2.1.8. So we move on to the next question that we 2.2, it reads, John's car has a tank that can hold 66 liters of petrol. His engine has a full consumption rate of 14.8 liters per 100 kilometers traveled. Determine the total distance he can travel on a full tank of petrol. We see that a full tank of petrol is 66 liters as indicated. So his engine has a full consumption of 14.8 liters per 100 kilometers. So in other words, you're saying 14.8 liters is equal to 100 kilometers. What about 66 liters, which is the full tank? So we make a simple proportion, 2.2.1, whereby we are saying 14.8 is close to 100. It's close to 100 kilometers. So what about 66? What about 66 liters? Obviously, we need more kilometers. So as we have like that, we now say what we don't have is 66. Numerator, what we have is 14.8. Denominator, we multiply by the number of, the given figure is 100 kilometers. So we multiply by 100, which is 100 kilometers. And of course, the answer has to be in kilometers. So if we calculate it like that, the answer that you're supposed to get is 445.94 kilometers. 445.94. So this is what we have. So 2.2.2, calculate the cost of a full tank of petrol if the price of petrol is 16 rands 23 cents per liter. So the cost of full tank. So the cost of full tank, obviously, we are just going to say our 16 rand 23 cents per liter times the number of liters which you have on the full tank, which is 66 liters. So that's what we have on 2.2.3. So we are saying 16 rands 23 cents times 66 liters. And then we get the total cost, which is going to be 1,071 rands 18 cents. So that's what we have on that part. We move on to the next question, 2.2.4. 2.2.3, sorry. This is going to be our 2.2.3. So this was supposed to be our 2.2.2. So we can just try to correct that. So we now move on to 2.2.3. So 2.2.3 is calculate how much money John will spend on fuel for a return trip from Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone. So a return trip from Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone. Of course, we know that the kilometers that we have from Port Elizabeth to uh, Port Shepstone, we did calculate that. We can just try to refer back where we calculated that the distance that we have from Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone, according to our calculations, we try to refer back. Right, this is the distance that we calculated, which we got as 954.55 kilometers. 954.55 kilometers. So we say 954.55 kilometers. This is a Port Elizabeth to Port Shepstone. So this is the distance that we have. So the question, going back to the question, our question says calculate how much money you want to spend on fuel for a return trip. So for a return trip, we are saying 954.55. Remember, return trip is we are saying is to and from, so we multiply by 2 to get the total distance that is required, which is 1,909.10. 1,909.10 kilometers. So this is what we have. So this is what we want to convert now. This is what we convert as we refer back to the question again, whereby the question says calculate how much money John will spend on fuel for a return trip from Port Elizabeth through Port Shepstone. So we have got that now. We try to see how many liters are required for that distance, but we know that we have got we know that we have got an equivalence that we are given. We can just refer back to our question, whereby we are saying 14.8 liters is equals to 100 kilometers. 14.8 is equals to 100 kilometers. So 14.8 liters. So here we have got 1,909 kilometers. So what do we say? We need more liters. So that's exactly as we have. So we're going to say 1,909 .10. Of course, here is point 0.10. So on our calculation, we are going to indicate as such, whereby now we are going to say 1,909.10 over 100 times 14.8 to get the total number of liters. So if you calculate like that, you are going to get your answer. You're going to get your answer is 282.5468 liters. So it's going to be 282.5468 liters. So this is what we have in terms of liters. So with that now, we now multiply it by the amount per liter. And we know that the amount per liter, we are given it is 16 rand 23 cents. So we now say 16 rands 23 cents times the total number of liters that we have, 282.5468 liters. And we are going to get a product of 4,585. 4,585 rands 73 cents. 4,585 73 cents is going to be our final answer. So this is what we have on that part. And of course, this is our 2.2.3. We move on to 2.2.4. So on 2.2.4, it reads the average daytime temperature for Port Elizabeth in September is 18 degrees Celsius. Calculate the average temperature to Fahrenheit. You may use the following formula: degrees Celsius is equals to Fahrenheit minus 32 in brackets and divided by 1.8. So with that now, we can just simply say, put down our formula first, 2.2.4. So we are saying this is going to be our 2.2.4, whereby our formula says degrees Celsius equals to Fahrenheit minus 32 in brackets divided by 1.8. So what we are given is, we are given 18 degrees Celsius. So it becomes 18 degrees Celsius equal to Fahrenheit minus 32 divided by 1.8. Of course, to remove this divided, we multiply by 1.8. Both sides, we take this divided by 1.8 to the other side, it becomes 8 times 1.8. So it becomes 18 degrees Celsius times 1.8 equal to Fahrenheit minus 32. So this is what we have on that part. So having that now, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed now to get 32.4. If you multiply here, you get 32.4. And then you take the negative 32 at this side, it becomes a positive. So it becomes plus 32. Then it becomes a Fahrenheit, equal to Fahrenheit. So if you add the two, you're going to get 64.4. So it becomes 64.4 equal to Fahrenheit. So this is your final answer. So as we see, this is the last question that we have on question 2.2.4. And of course, we need to move on to question 3. So moving on to our question 3. Uh, Moving on to our question 3, it reads, Sam owns a construction company. He has been hired to build a monument that is to be placed on Victoria Embankment. The monument is to be made out of concrete. The concrete mixture is made up of cement, powder, sand, and water. There is 1 part sand to every 3 part cement. So the first part of the question is, write down the ratio of sand to cement used rather the ratio of sand to cement are used in the concrete mixture. So of course our question has got 2 marks. So according to what we are given, there is 1 part sand and then 3 parts are cement. So obviously this is 1:3. So we indicate it as that such we've got 3.1, whereby we are saying 1:3. Then moving on to the second part of the question, 500 mils of water are required for every 400 grams of dry mixture. Same as 60 kg of dry mixture. How many liters of water would be needed? So of course we need liters of water, but here we are given 400 grams equal to 400 mils. So we can just start by making that equivalence on 3.2, whereby we are saying 400 grams is equal to 500 milliliters. So what about 60 kg? And 60 kg, of course, it's going to be, remember, we've got 1,000 grams in a kg. So to convert our 60 kg to grams, we are going to say 60 times 1,000. And of course, this will give you 60,000 grams. So we are saying 60,000 grams is equal to how many milliliters? Of course, we're going to have more milliliters. So in that case, we try to put down our proportion by saying, now what we did, of course, the 60,000 becomes our numerator. And what we have is 400, so it becomes our denominator. And then we multiply by the given figure as 500 milliliters. So this is what we have. So having that now, we can further calculate this proportion, whereby if we further calculate, of course, what we are going to get, we can see what we get if we further calculate that. Whereby we are saying 60,000, and then we divide by 400. And the answer that we are going to get, we multiply by 500. So we're going to get 75,000 milliliters. We refer back to the question. The question says how many liters. So it means we have to convert the milliliters that we have to liters. And we know that 1 liter is equals to 1,000 milliliters. So in that case, to convert our milliliters to liters, we say we divide by 1,000. 25,000 divided by 1,000. These are milliliters. milliliters. And we convert that to liters, it becomes 75 liters. So this becomes your final answer. So basically, this is what we have. Moving on to the next part of our question, which is going to be 3.3. Same mixes the ingredients in barrel with a height of 1 meter and a radius of 40 centimeters as shown in the diagram below. So this diagram that we have of a radius of 40 centimeters, we've got a height of 1 meters. Then beneath that it says define the term capacity. And of course, our capacity is the maximum amount an object can hold. Maximum amount that an object can hold is capacity. So we can define that at 3.1, whereby we are saying capacity is the maximum amount an object can hold. So this is what we have. Then we go to the next question, which is going to be 3.3.2. Determine the diameter of the barrel in meters. So the diameter, we are given the radius is 40 centimeters, as we know that uh, radius is equals to half diameter. And it also converts to diameter is equals to radius times 2. So in this sense, we are concerned about this first conversion. We want to convert our radius we want to convert our yes, our radius to diameter. So in that case, we are going to multiply. On the second part, we say our radius 40 centimeters, then multiply by 2 to get our diameter. So exactly as we have that. So we are going to take it as 3.2, whereby we say diameter, is equal to radius times 2, whereby we're saying 40 centimeters times 2. And we say 40 centimeters times 2, we are going to get 80 centimeters. And it comes back to say our 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. Remember, our question is saying, we go back to our question. Our question is saying, determine the diameter of barrel in meters. So we've got in centimeters. So we convert to meters, we divide by 100. So we are going to say our diameter now becomes 80 centimeters divided by 100 centimeters. So we calculate it like that. We see that we are going to get your answer is 0.8. 0.8 meters. So this is what we have for 3.3.2. So we'll go to the next question, which is going to be our 3.3.3. Calculate the volume of the barrel, rounded off to the nearest liter. Note 1 liter is equals to 1,000 cubic centimeters. You may use the formula volume of the barrel, pi times r squared times h, which is our height, where pi is equals to 3.1142. So very important, we take down our formula first. Remember, we need to calculate the volume. So we take down our formula first, 3.3.3. So we are saying volume is equals to pi times r squared times h. And then we have got our pi with 3.142 times our r squared, of which our r is we are given it here in centimeters, it's 40 centimeters. So basically we are saying 40 centimeters squared. We multiply with our height. Our height is 1 meter. and 1 meter in centimeters is equal to 100 centimeters. So we are saying times 100 centimeters. So we get, remember, we are supposed to use the same units here. So we have centimeters, so we are using centimeters. So with that now, we calculate, we are going to get your answer is 502,000, 720 cubic centimeters. So this is our volume. But then if you refer back to the question, it requires us to express our volume uh, in liters. Requires us to express in liters, whereby 1 liter is 1,000 cubic centimeters. That's what we have. So to convert our cubic centimeters to liters, we divide by 1,000. As simple as that. So we say, and we divide by 1,000 cubic centimeters. What are we supposed to get? We get 502. 502.72 liters. Which, of course, again, if you refer back to the question, the instruction is that round off to the nearest liter. So to round it off to the nearest liter, we have got a liter here. This is our liter. So we refer back, we've got a 7. A 7 is in the range. We see that our 7 is in the range 5 to 9. So it changes our 2. We add 1 here, becomes a plus 1. So 2 plus 1 becomes 3. So our final answer becomes 500 and 503. 503 liters is indicated because our final answer is supposed to be rounded off to the nearest liter. So this is what we have according to the last question that we have on this question paper. As we can see, this is the last question with the total marks that we have for this question paper. That is our paper 1 of June 2019, having 75 marks. So thank you for listening, and let's not forget to subscribe and share to our channel. Let's meet again in the next video.